Dan Geltrude. Dan, thank you so much for joining me. So Dan, I get that, they want to go green and that's fine, but we're not there yet. So we need something in between. You can't just take away everything and expect people to get by. That's not how it works.
You're exactly right. As the song goes, it's not easy being green. There needs to be a transition. No one is against the fact of saying, let's reduce our reliance on oil, specifically foreign oil. Okay, that's good. And let's try to have a cleaner environment. That's good too. I don't know how you argue with that. The argument becomes, how do you get there? And how you get there is certainly not saying we are done with fossil fuels today, or we're going to reduce what we pump today and try to make a jump to green. You can't do that. So what ends up happening is the world, including us potentially, starts to rely on foreign oil and oil from Russia. That's really what's creating the biggest problem related to what's going on with Ukraine. You'd have a lot more support from Europe, and we are getting support, but you'd have them being all in on sanctions if they weren't relying on Russian energy. That's the whole problem. So the whole world can see what happens when you're relying on unfriendly countries like Russia or the Middle East for your energy supply.
Exactly. And it just shows how we can't be dependent on other countries, especially when they're our enemies. And we've known this for a long time, and so many people have been warning about it.
You know what doesn't make any sense to me, and I really want to approach the audience here with really just a common sense outlook. The world has an appetite for oil right now. That's not going to change because there's not an alternative to replace that today. So if the United States is not going to pump and export our oil, it's got to come from somewhere else. So all the people that are really, really extreme about the environment and putting pressure on the United States and lobbying for us to do less pumping and producing oil, all it's doing is having other countries pump more, like Russia. So it doesn't change oil consumption. It just changes who has the power to produce the oil that the world needs.
Yeah,
Makes no sense.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure you saw this. The Washington Post, they're being slammed for a headline saying that the economy appeared ready to surge, but thanks to the Russian invasion of Ukraine, now that's not going to happen. But that's a lie. We've been following this for some time now, and we know it's not true.
It's not true. Look, inflation is the biggest threat to the U.S. economy as well as the world economy. That inflation and what we've experienced up to the point of the Ukraine crisis was already in existence. So to say that we were just on the cusp of breaking through, but now Russia messed everything up, that's not the case at all. We still have a policy-driven inflation problem that, as far as I see, there is nothing that is going to change the trajectory that we are currently on. We can do things to change, like creating more supply of goods, getting rid of mandates, and basically unleashing our full economy to its potential. That's when inflation will start to come down.
Yeah, it's so embarrassing that somebody would actually write that and then it would get published on the Washington Post. I mean, they think we're stupid, and it's very obvious what's going on here. Now, cryptocurrency has been really the focus lately, as we saw what happened in Canada, where the Canadian government was wanting to freeze cryptocurrency. And now there's discussion about Russian Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, how those could be part of future sanctions. And, part of the whole reason of a cryptocurrency was to avoid government involvement. And so now it seems like the government is really trying hard to meddle with cryptocurrency.
Yes, they are. And that's been the case since cryptocurrency really came on the scene. Crypto's been around for a while, but it's really been the last few years that it's really gotten everyone's attention. People are aware of what it is, and people are investing in it and using it. So the fact that you could have, whether it's the Canadian government, the U.S. government, or the Russian government or anyone else actually go in and manipulate crypto, freeze it, take it, whatever the case is exactly why crypto was created, not to have any government intervention related to the currency. So if the governments now have the ability to do these things, Steph, what I would see here is an evolving of how crypto works and how their blockchain technology is going to evolve to, quite frankly, stop it. So that's what I see in the future right now.
Yeah, I would imagine that they, at all costs, would try to get around and maneuver around these governments. Well, Dan, we're going to leave it here. We appreciate your insight. Thank you.
Thanks, Steph.
Coming up next.